Hi everyone. So I received a lot of questions on how I did the distressed look on the pedestal of my table. So I thought for my instructional package, I'll make a quick little video tutorial on how to do that. And it's actually a lot easier than you would think. So what you're going to do first, you start with whatever wood you're wanting to paint distress. You're going to start with your stain. So for example, on the table that I did a white distressed base with a stained top. So I used the same stain that I was going to use on the top of my table to show through on the base. So that's what this looks like now after I stained it today. So here we have just your plain stained lumber. Then you let this dry. Once it is dry, the trick to getting your stain to show through is Vaseline. If you're using a chalk paint, you don't have to use the Vaseline. However, for a piece of furniture that's going to get a lot of wear and tear, a dining room table, a coffee table, I don't suggest chalk paint because it's not durable enough. So the paint that I actually used on my finished piece of wood here is, your basic wall paint that is, I believe I did a semi-gloss on this. I can't remember. But, something durable that's going to last because the chalk paint wears off really easily. So this is our finished look, what we're kind of trying to achieve. As you can see, the base of my table, most of you in class saw it, and it looks a lot different than this, but this is kind of what we're going for. So you take your first piece of lumber that you have stained, and I like to wear a glove. Buy these at Costco, 2-pack, super cheap, love having them around. And you take a little bit of your Vaseline, and you rub them on the corners or wherever you want your stain to show through. So when you're thinking of this, when you're thinking of where you want your stain to show through, think of where a piece of furniture would get natural wear and tear. So typically the corners of something would get natural wear and tear. So that's why I'm putting it on all the corners. Or if you have like a nice big knot in your wood that you want to show through a little bit more, you could add it there. So you're just going to Vaseline it up, make it nice and smooth, no big pieces of Vaseline. Just like that. So once you have that done, your stain is already dry. It's not like your Vaseline is going to dry, so you're ready to paint at this point. So here's a piece of painted wood over the stain. So this has 2 good coats of my paint. It's not fully dry, smudged it a little bit there because I'm kind of in a rush to get this done. So let it fully dry. 2 good coats because you don't want your entire stain, like the entire piece, to have stain show through. So 2 good coats of your paint. And then after that, you're going to pick a sander. You can use a random orbital for this. For my particular table base, I really like this corner cat sander because I had a lot of really tight corners that it was hard to get into. So I use this sander for sanding the table to begin with before I even stained it, painted it, all that stuff. And then I use it again to distress it. So once you have painted and it's dry, you will take your sander and you're going to sand over the parts that you have Vaseline. So it's really easy to see my nice corners here. And it comes off very easily because paint is not going to adhere to the Vaseline that you rubbed on there. So just give it a quick sand and that's it. And that's how you distress wood. So you can put a darker stain underneath that if you want something to show through a little bit more. Sometimes people put like a turquoisey one to give it like an antique look. There's lots of different ways that you can do this, but this I have found after trying different paints and different ways of doing this. This is probably the easiest way, the easiest method I have found when you want to use a durable paint, not a chalk paint. A chalk paint, you don't even have to use a sander. You can just wash off with a wet cloth because it's water-based and it just washes off. So that is how I distress the base of my table. All right. It was great to be in class with everyone. I had a great time. Bye.